All right, partner. Where we heading today?
Sando.
Sando. Okay, so we're driving all the way from Trin City to Sando.
Yeah.
These are the days of trucking.
Yeah.
When everybody feel that to be a trucker is a brilliant thing. But being a trucker ain't no easy job.
Yeah.
You still want to be a trucker?
Yeah.
Why you want to be a trucker?
Because I like truck.
You like truck?
Yeah.
You feel like when you start to drive this thing and you get a big flat tire and you have to lift up a big 10-ton truck. Eh? You gonna make it?
Do.
Well, I know that. Anyway, this guy here, he's only 16 years old. He's not really working with me today because if I hire him, I will be charged for child labor. So he just come for the ride. He feel that trucking is a nice thing. But truckers just work long hours. There's no glory to it. There's absolutely nothing that you could say is wonderful about a trucking because to start with, you better make sure your truck in gear for the day. So you gotta check your wipers, you gotta check your oil. Yeah, well, you gotta check again. You gotta check
your brakes.
Your brakes, right? Your windshield had to be real clean. Your horn must be working. When I say tune up this horn.
Blow it out.
Poof. I blow it. I blow the horn, you know. Nothing happening to the horn. A partner of mine was driving a truck, boy.
Yeah.
And the policeman stopped him.
Yeah.
And the policeman said, blow your horn, let me see. You do so. The policeman charged him, you know. So what's your name again?
Brighton.
Brighton. Hey, you from Labre, boy?
Yeah.
You know the Brighton bucket? Yeah. In them days when they used to send the pitch down in buckets to the ships.
Yeah.
One bucket going so and the empty bucket coming this way. They call it Brighton bucket. So when you tell somebody, you pass me like a Brighton bucket, they mean to say you pass me without noticing me, without stopping to say hello. Right? Mm-hmm. Good. But I want to tell you a little bit about trucking in my days. When I started off with a 3-ton Mazda. And it was tough work. I went into ANP and I loaded up the truck.
Yeah.
Right? I had no loader at one point. No companion with me on the truck. And when you're traveling along the highway, and certain parts of the highway, if you see you get a breakdown. Mm-hmm. In them days, you could lose all your product on the truck, yeah?
Yeah.
Fellas will come up from certain areas. I remember a story about a man going up a hill somewhere about the country, and he was carrying flour and other stuff on the baking flour, right?
Yeah.
And these guys knew that on this hill, this truck will slow down. Mm-hmm. And by the time he got to the top of the hill, he had lost half of his goods, you know. Yeah, the fellas had overfloated as the truck slowed down climbing the hill. Mm-hmm. So my boy, we're thinking here about trucking. I myself had an experience on the highway, coming from NP. I pulled aside to make sure that the load was good, but fortunately, I had my tarpaulin under the back rail, so it pinched it and you couldn't get it off. Okay. And when I looked, I saw 3 guys appeared from nowhere, so I ran around the truck, you know. Mm-hmm. I tried to do it in such a casual way that they wouldn't notice that I noticed them. And by the time I got into the truck and I looked in the rearview mirror, I realized one fella was not with them. So that meant he was on the back of the truck, right? So I decided, okay, the truck was heavy, it was heavy laden, and it was moving slow. Anyway, partners, it started to pick up speed. And I stepped on the brakes.
Yeah.
And the truck rocked that way. And I shook him off. Right? And then I pulled in front of a car that was coming. And when I look back, I see the guy stand up with his arms folded and he's shaking his head. He said, you get away, partners. You get away. Right? So, a trucker's big problem is also the weather. Mm-hmm. If it's dry weather and you're going through safe areas, you're okay. But if it's raining, a tarpaulin is a very hard thing to work in rain. Especially if you're carrying things like flour and all of that. No, I mean, a tarpaulin, you need to cover your goods because you don't want... I got a job once with an English woman, She brought in a lot of... she imported a lot of cupboard material. Right? The first trip I made, it was good. The second trip didn't have so many items, but the rain started to fall. And the truck was laden with water. Right?
Yeah.
And I said to myself, oh my goodness, this woman is going to kill me, because I am sure in this last trip, although there weren't so many things on the truck, this woman is going to be annoyed. So when we got up there and we took up the tarpaulin, water, all in Santa Cruz, eh? And then we hustled and we got it stuff inside, and we started to tear off the boxes, open them out so that we could, see what the product inside looked like, and everything was dry. And the lady gave me extra money, boy.
What? You lucky?
Yes. Sometimes a trucker comes into a good deal. Another thing that is hard for trucking, eh? People like to do, they want to move from here to another home, another location, and it is a tedious affair for a trucker to have to wait to put a bed, to put furniture, to put your appliance on the truck. Getting it off the truck is quick work, but to stack it on the truck, that's pressure. That's pressure. Sometimes too, surprises come along the way. I remember driving this 10-ton truck, and I got to a certain place, and I was negotiating to turn into a street, and this guy came right up to the corner, but I didn't realize that the pavement, and neither did he, realize that the pavement was jutting out. So it meant that he had to open wider, and I thought that he was clear. And the next thing I heard, crunch. And the rear wheels of the truck had struck his front fender. Right?
Yeah.
So it created a little dent I shouldn't say a little dent, but it dented the fender.
Yeah.
And the guy came out and he was well attired, A trucker does not dress like he's going to an office.
No.
He's got a boots on, he's got an old coarse pants, he's got an old jersey like what I'm wearing here now, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like what you're wearing too, you see?
Yeah.
So this guy came out and he said it's okay, we will just go down to the police station and find everything will be okay. Some bystander on the pavement took a turn behind me. You truckers always pushing yourselves around. Now that's how some people get killed too, They get into an affair that is not theirs. They incite somebody like the driver. He would have been incited, right? And he would have probably, realized I got some back in here, and he want to fight me. But that didn't happen. I ignored him too. We went down to the police station in St. Joseph, and to my great surprise, the guy who was well attired started to rear up and tell the police I was wrong, and he completely took himself away from any wrong, and suddenly I was the victim, right? So my friend, I decided, I'm going to teach you a lesson. I was ignorant, I was stupid. I'll tell you why. You know why? Okay. About a month later, my insurance, obviously he went to my insurance. And he told my insurance what happened. And they wrote to me saying, come in and explain what happened, because the man wants to settle. And I said, no, I am not going in to explain anything. Right? And come around a little bit, fella. You're not in the camera view. Let them see your pretty face. Come. Your handsome face, right? This guy is from the Carcass, Where you call him? Swoosh. He's Swoosh. His name is Swoosh. He's from the Carcass. Right? Where you go to school?
Serval.
Serval? What are you doing in Serval?
Computer and thing.
Computer?
Yeah.
Oh, very good. You doing well?
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you want to do with your studies?
What I ate?
Yeah, but what are you going to do? Into computer work?
Yeah.
Okay. Very nice. My days didn't have computers. Only typewriters. So anyway, the guy, I said, no, I am not going to follow this up. And that's the end of that. To my great surprise, maybe 4 or 5 months later, I got a solicitor's note saying I must settle with this man, otherwise he'll take it to the higher court. So here I am now, because of ignorance and foolishness on my part and pride, I have got to go now to find a lawyer. So I go down to San Fernando, and I was walking through the cemetery to the lawyer's place, and this madman, you know, there's a cemetery in San Fernando where a lot of homeless people, they stay in this cemetery off Sutton Street, I think it is. And it's like walking through, you know what I'm sure they call Walking Dead?
Yeah.
But when you watch these people in the cemetery, they're like Walking Dead, you know. And I hustled up. When I got to the top, there's this guy who just comes around the corner with a stick in his hand, and he's doing this. And I almost leaped out of my pants, brother. And he challenged a woman in front of him. And I said, all of this because I was so ignorant? Now I got to find this lawyer and face this kind of craziness? The lawyer looked at the case, and she said, you're going to lose this case because you did not present yourself to your insurance. Settle with the man. It cost me $2,000 plus. I settled, and that was that. So, while truckers might be having their frustrations out there, it's important to recognize that you have to stay within the bounds of the law.
Yeah.
You know? You can't be wrong and strong out there. You definitely cannot be wrong and strong. And then you get into certain jobs. You take certain jobs because you feel, I need the money, right? So I've got to do certain jobs. And those certain jobs are really, sometimes, they don't pay well. There's a lot of hard work, a lot of stress. I remember going to Queen's Wharf in Port of Spain. And we had to drop some drums on the wharf. And I told the man, I said, listen, my friend, these drums are too close to the edge of the wharf.
Yeah.
And one is likely to topple into the sea. He himself had a vessel, and NP had contracted him to take some bitumen up the islands. So, or maybe to Tobago, I'm not sure, I can't remember which it was. And the point about it is this. He wanted to get the job, and he was ignoring safety. And you know, eventually when it was my turn to drop drums, he got about 4 trucks. One of them went into the sea. And he tells me, go in and get it. And I say, you gotta be mad. You gotta be mad. So we put up with a lot of rude customers. We put up with rude drivers. We put up with rude. Ah, man, I tell you, trucking is not a glorious job. I'll tell you something too. You know, they talk about their health dangers to truckers. I can name some of them. Obesity and hypertension. Obesity is like when, you know, you're putting on weight, you're dangerous weight, right? And then it all gets in, and it's acting on your heart, it's acting on your whole frame of mind, this obesity. And truckers really and truly don't get exercise as people think they do. You have what you call musculoskeletal injuries. You have back and neck injuries because you're sitting behind this wheel all day long, you're bumping along. Nice, you got some nice seats.
Yeah.
But there's the occasional time when your shocks may not be up to mark.
No.
And then you're bumping along, and you go home and you say, hey, Louis, I got a pain behind my neck. And she says, Lancy, you think you really want to continue trucking? I say, the family's gotta live, Louis. I gotta go again in the morning. And I lumber up in the truck, and it's a tough life.
Yeah.
Then there's extreme fatigue. At the end of the day, most people will tell you, most people, even those who work in offices, hey, you know something? I don't exercise because my day has been so harassing. I'm tired. I'm not going to exercise, man. I am not going to exercise. I get enough exercise. A trucker feels the same way, you know. He driving his big truck, whether it be a flatbed or a dump truck. He's driving this thing and he's tired. There's a thing called sleep apnea. You have this heavy breathing, right? Some people have a machine attached in the night to their nostrils, and however it works, right? You could check it out, and you're a computer man. You check that out.
Yeah.
Then it says that truckers are the higher risk of being in an accident because they're tired. They didn't sleep well the night before. They were not able to buy some new tires.
No.
I knew a guy who had a truck, And he never had a flat tire. You know why? He could have afforded to get 6 new tires whenever they went down. Most truckers can't even afford 1 good tire. So you're running your truck, whether it's a retread tire, and you're driving along the highway, and you ever see along the highway a whole strip of tire that's lying down on the roadway?
Yeah.
You see that already?
Yeah.
Right. That tire has been retreaded, right?
Yeah.
And they don't last under the load. Then it talks there about an increased use of stimulants. Okay, so I'm driving now. I don't want to fall asleep, so I don't have water, but I have coffee. I have an energy drink, right?
Yeah.
I have tea because I want to keep my eyes open.
Yeah.
I want to be awake when I'm going, right?
Yeah.
So, you drink coffee?
Yeah.
You like tea?
Yeah.
So then if you start driving truck now, you're going to be drinking coffee and tea all the way?
No.
Or you're going to be drinking Coke?
Water.
Water? Oh. Coca-Cola is it, right? So they're right. Exposure to hazardous materials and diesel fumes. Now, diesel fumes are not pleasant. And sometimes if your engine is not properly outfitted, you can get a feedback in your cab. That diesel fume, the heat from the engine, most engines, you have to tilt this engine to get to you have to tilt this cab to get to the engine. And all of this heat coming up from here, you know what it is doing to you, brother? It's getting you drowsy. And that's the risk now of a trucker. But I'll tell you something. We still have to be very thankful that truckers can carry product to your parlor, your supermarket, to your big warehouse, Price Mart, everywhere.
Yeah.
Things from off the docks. People like to send barrels along from the States for the families, 3 and 4 barrels. You need a pickup or you need a 1-ton truck to carry it. So transport is essential, but trucking is not a glorious job. I did it for 32 years. I enjoyed the freedom when you load up, you drive out there. It's interesting. You're meeting people. I come down to Carcass here. I stop by my family. My little friend here, he bring me a bottle of water, right? It's nice when you do trucking and you're out there and you're meeting people, but it is not a glorious job, right? They say too, here I am with you in this truck, okay?
Yeah.
It's a dump truck.
Yeah.
It's my nephew's dump truck, okay?
Yeah.
And he's working pretty hard. He's working pretty hard these days. But usually a trucker, maybe in a dump truck especially, and not a flatbed, he's alone.
Yeah.
And he could be alone with depression and loneliness, right? You don't have anybody to talk to. Your radio is not working.
AC not working.
And your AC is not working. You're sweating in your vehicle, okay?
Yeah.
So depression and loneliness step in. I got insurance to pay. I can't stay at home. So I gotta get up now on the insurance, right?
Yeah.
It may be third party.
Yeah.
And when your truck is beginning to get older, you don't go for, most people use what they call third party insurance, right?
Yeah.
So they might fix the other guy's vehicle if it's damaged, but they're not going to do mine, maybe, right?
Yeah.
So, and the most common health problems you can have is heart disease, diabetes, high cholesterol, and worse again, lack of physical activity that goes towards all of this. So you see, now when I was at NP, there was a contracting team, and they used to pull they used to pull gasoline and diesel to the gas stations. Most of these guys live in the south. Some live in Faizabad, Siparia, and other far places, okay? They would get up to NP maybe 4 o'clock in the morning, maybe 5 or 6, and the trucks will be lined up there because they are contracted, okay? And because they're contracted, they really have to pull their weight, so to speak, pull in all of this, maybe thousands of 6,000 gallons, 7,000 gallons of fuel and they probably, you know, going to distant businesses, gas stations.
Yeah.
So, and that's a nice thing about trucking too, you know. You see some ladies passing and you just wave to them. Eh? You didn't wave? What kind of trucker you going to be, boy? You have to be a friendly trucker, you know. You mightn't find your way around and you stop and you say, hey, can you help me find this location?
Yeah.
People have what they call Waze now and they have GPS and all of that.
Yeah.
But in our days, brother, I have to say, hey, old man, excuse me,
Yeah.
how are you? Can you tell me where I can find Swoosh?
Yeah.
Where can I find Swoosh? I'm looking for Swoosh. He's expecting 2 barrels, okay?
Yeah.
So that's trucking for you, brother. Now these guys in this, what they call a National Transport Corporation, I want to pay them. The company does not exist. But I'll tell you something. They worked hard. They helped to build NP. They were contractors. They helped to build NP. Most of them, I believe, have died.
Yeah.
I stand to be corrected. A lot of them got heart attacks.
Yeah.
A lot of them were diabetic, right? But they came out to work every day, pulling these long vehicles. I really want to say NP and the general public owe these people, and up to now, the NP drivers and the contractors, the people who are unsung heroes. They're not heroes, you know.
No.
They're not a general hero doing heroic act. But I tell you, they are heroes in my mind. I work with them. I saw them. They ate. As the truck will move along, they ate their meals. And they worked hard. 1 trip, 2 trips, according to where they went, right? 3 trips, wherever. And they're gone now. Most of them have gone. They've died. But I pay them my highest respects for the job they've done for our country. So, my friend, after all of that, would you still want to be a trucker?
No.
You don't want to be a trucker?
Nah.
Why? Now, tell me, what has...
Because it's dangerous.
Ah.
Load, rain.
Yeah, but they'll be so easily put off. You can get your own truck. You know, there was a time... I was talking the other day about integrity. And I tell you something, man. When I got my truck, this 10-ton truck, I went to a tire repair place. And a man came in and said to me, he talked to the owner of the place who had trucks. And then the owner called me. I was brand new in trucking, eh? Listen to how you can get trapped, eh? And he says to me, that young fella there he needs a truck to go into Maracas Bay to bring out watermelon. In those days, there were a lot of watermelon vendors along the highway, you know, by the Grand Bazaar area there.
Yeah.
On either side of the highway, in those days, they sold watermelon there. Good? And this man said to me, this young fella needs a truck, and I'm recommending you. And I said, how much is the job? And he says, 300. I am supposed to go into Maracas at 3 o'clock in the evening.
Yeah.
Louis went with me, Lasana went with me as a little boy.
Yeah.
And when we got there, up in Maracas, pull up on certain part of the beach, and apparently the watermelon was really thriving. Now you know what it is to fill a 10-ton truck with watermelon? And he says, I can't get down to the melon patch. So they're going to use a Land Rover, fill it, how much I could take, and then come and fill my truck. 2 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah.
from 3 o'clock in the evening
Yeah.
to 2 o'clock in the morning,
Well.
I am coming up the highway with a load of watermelon. I couldn't even pass through certain parts of Port of Spain unless I was attacked on the truck. Right? Offloaded, received my 300, plus 1 or 2 melon that might have been damaged, and that was my pay. If that man in the tire shop had told me that was not a good price, negotiate your own price, I would have done better. Right? Now, that was what I call a lack of integrity. He wasn't honest, as I believe. Nevertheless, I did the job, and you learn as you go along.
Yeah.
Right? You learn as you go along.
Yeah.
Now, tell me something. What do you think about the truckers who bring items to the people here of Icacos? You ever talk to them?
Yeah.
What have they said? Speak up, huh?
They said truck take when they had to drag load, it'd be hard for them.
It'd be hard.
Yeah, sometimes they had to get goods in the port to bring.
Okay.
And they had to sleep.
That's right. Yeah, trucking is not a glorious job at all. It might look fanciful to people who see this big truck rolling by, but it's hard work on your back, on your neck, and everything else. Well, my friend, what did you say your name was again?
Brighton.
Brighton. You see, trucking did that to me, you know.
Yeah.
Trucking has taken away some of my brain, you know what I mean? But before I close, I really want to talk a little bit there. I don't know what I've done with the paper. Oh my goodness, now I've lost it. Oh nice. What did I do with that bit of paper I had? Oh no, it's here. See that? The steering wheel got in the way. You're driving along the road and you're feeling good, you know? And you're saying, hey fellas, I'm there. I'm going to reach home soon and Louis is going to have a nice big meal there waiting for a tired trucker, right? But I really want to call out, shout out as they say. We're not good at this, Louis and I. But I want to shout out to some people who have been really supporting us. And the first one on the list is Laura from Jerningham in Cunupia. I really appreciate your input into our videos. And then there's somebody called Bimpy, Suzanne, Keith, Natasha, Michelle, Lisa, Deborah, Hamani, Gloria, Susanna, Caris, Stephanie, and of course we have here now Brighton.
Yeah.
Brighton is a follower from Ikakas. He loves our videos. I don't know what he loves about the videos, but he will get to understand that it's like trucking too. It's tough work. Yeah. I don't see Louis waiting to greet me at the gate, but I remember when Lasana was a little boy and I pulled up. Yeah. I pulled up in the front of the house there, and the truck used to be parked on the pavement. It was like a landmark. And Lasana would get up on the banister and say, Daddy come, Daddy come, Daddy come, Daddy come. It was a joy to hear Lasana. As a little fella, he was waiting for his daddy to come home. Sana, I really appreciate that. Lisa and Leba and Lyndon, really appreciate on behalf of Louise. She's not in this video today, but I miss her being here with us. But thank you, my little friend.
Yes.
All the best to you. Look forward to seeing you again. Thank you, folks.